Hello, today I've got a really restorative, restful practice for you. So we stay very close to the ground. It's nice and slow and gentle, helping to restore the nervous system and help us feel a little bit more calm and relaxed. If you're watching this in real time, it's the winter solstice, so the shortest day of the year, and often a time where we want to cozy up, cocoon ourselves a little bit and really slow down, which is kind of the opposite of what many of us experience around the holidays. It's quite a busy, quite a social time of year. So hopefully this one will give you a little bit of time just for yourself to pause, rest and relax. So feel free to light a candle, put on some soft music if you want to. And you can grab some cushions and extra pillows to have around you, because it might feel quite nice to give yourself a little bit of extra support through this practice. So whenever you're ready, we'll get started. We're going to start this one seated. Feel free to grab some cushions or pillows and sit on them, especially if you find that when you're cross-legged your knees are up here. Bringing something underneath the bum can help lift the hips and drop the knees down a little bit. So take a second to get yourself comfy, and you can have heels kind of one in front of the other like I have, or cross-legged like you used to do in primary school probably, or kind of any other position that's comfortable. But sitting up nice and tall through the spine, just dropping the chin down slightly, or close the eyes. And just take a second here, taking a few deep breaths, just giving ourselves this first little bit of time to pause. And see if you can just focus on the sensation you can feel the breath causing in the body. See where you can feel the breath moving your body. Can you feel the ribs expanding? Maybe the chest rising and falling. One more big breath like this, letting all the air go on your exhale. Good, and then you can keep the eyes closed or just softly open them. Not really focusing on anything in particular, trying to keep the focus on the inside, what's happening inside the body. We'll start by just taking some circles with the head, easing out through the neck, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Just moving the head around in whatever direction feels good. And notice if you're moving quite fast here, see if you can slow it down, making the conscious decision to slow down a little bit. And giving yourself time to actually feel what's going on as you move the head. What can you feel through the neck and the shoulders? How does the stretch change in these different positions? And feel free to pause whenever you want to give yourself even more time to feel into whatever stretch is feeling good for you. And you can stay with this for a little bit longer, or bring the head back to center. Just resting the hands on the knees. We'll start to take the shoulders around in circles around the hips. And again, just seeing if you can keep your focus with the practice. Feel what sensations you can feel through your seat. Maybe noticing where you can feel different amounts of pressure as you move around. And there's no right or wrong thing to be feeling here. And don't worry too much if you struggle to feel what's going on. Just like everything we do here, it's a practice. And these things, the more you do it, the easier it will become. Good, and then we'll take it round the other way. And again, notice if you're moving quite fast. If we've been feeling rushed or stressed, our tendency might be to kind of keep that rushed state, that stress state with us through the practice. But seeing if we can shift that into actively slowing down, making the conscious choice to slow down. Good. And then coming back to center again, feel free with any of these. If it's feeling really nice, you can stay with it a little bit longer. Otherwise, we're going to lean back into the hands, bring the feet out in front, and just send the knees from one side to the other. And if it feels nice to keep the knees on one side, feel free to hang out there for a little bit. And if you're feeling any fussiness through the knees, keep your feet flexed and just go as low as feels comfortable. Your knees don't have to come all the way down to the ground. Good, we'll just take a couple more here. And then when you're ready, bring the knees back to center. We're going to bring our left foot in, right foot out to the side. And then we're reaching up and over with the left hand. And this right hand can just stay somewhere on the floor, or it can come across the body, reaching across to this opposite thigh. And then just finding where is comfortable for the head. You can look down towards the floor, again closing your eyes if you want to, or you can look up towards the sky. Good, and then we're going to come out of this just for a second. Bring that hand down behind you, reaching up with the right hand, maybe staying here, or you can lift up onto that left knee. Good, and then dropping the hips back down if they're lifted. We're going to come back into that side stretch, but this time I want us to reach up with that lifted hand and then over. And just see if that changed the stretch at all by finding a little bit more space through the side body. You might notice a difference, you might not. Either is fine. Good, one more breath here, and then we'll drop back to center and swap the legs over. Good, finding your seat. You can still be sat up on a cushion here, reaching up and over, finding where this bottom hand wants to go. And just feeling into the stretch. What can you feel happening here? What can you feel stretching? Where can you feel pressure? Maybe there's different amounts of pressure through the areas touching the ground. And then again, we're going to drop this top hand down towards the floor, reaching up with the left hand, maybe lifting the hips. Good, and then you can drop the hips back down, and we'll come back into this side stretch just once more, really actively reaching up, sitting up as tall through the spine as you can, and then reaching over. Good, just take one final breath here, and then we'll come back to center. From here, we're going to come and lie down on the ground. So slowly making your way down, hugging the knees in once you get there. And maybe taking some circles with the knees, or just letting them flop from one side to the other. Just taking some movement here, see what feels nice through the spine and the lower back. Good. And then from here, we're going to bring our right foot down to the floor, but keep the knee bent. Left foot is going to come on top, coming to this figure 4 pose. Then you are welcome to stay here, just working at pressing the left knee away from the body. Or you can pick up that right foot and hold on either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Just finding what works best for you. And even if you take one version of this normally, just making a conscious choice. What do you need today? What does your body feel like it needs today in this moment? Relaxing the shoulders back down towards the ground, unclenching the jaw, softening the muscles around the face here. And you can stay in stillness here, or it can feel quite nice to gently rock from side to side with the legs. Good, taking one more breath here. And then uncrossing the legs. We'll send both feet up towards the sky, maybe holding onto the backs of the thighs, and knees can stay bent here as well. Or just take some movement through the feet and the ankles, wiggling the toes. Good, and then dropping the feet back down. We'll take our figure 4 on the other side. So left leg is down, right foot crosses onto the knee. And then again, those options. You can stay here, just gently pressing the right knee away from the body. And you can use your hand or just use kind of the muscles around the hips to pull it away. Or picking up the left leg, holding on behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Notice if this side feels any different to the other side. And again, just see if you can relax the shoulders, unclench the jaw. Find those places where you can soften. Maybe using the breath to help you relax into this one a little bit more. So you can let the exhale really sigh it out or extend the exhale. And with that, see what you can relax through the body. Good, and again, you can take some gentle movement from side to side here. And then one last breath here, and we'll uncross the legs, extend the legs up again. Just taking some movement through the feet and the ankles. Good, and then dropping the feet back down. We'll take some windshield wipers here. So bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart and just start to rock the knees from side to side again. And like before, your knees don't have to come all the way down to the floor. Just go as far as feels comfortable for you. Maybe bringing your awareness to what's going on through the lower back, feeling that massage through the spine, the sacrum, the hips. Just take a couple more to each side. And then we'll hug the knees back in towards the chest. Give them a squeeze in. Welcome to make it a little bit more active, squeezing the head and the chest up. And then you can relax the upper back back down. We're going to roll onto one side, keeping the knees hugged in. Stretch your arms out in front. Feel free to bring a little pillow under the head here if you want to. But then from here, we're going to lift this top hand all the way up and over, coming into a twist here. And then you can turn the head towards the outstretched arm, the opposite direction of the knees. But just see what feels good for you. Finding those places where you can soften, relaxing around the waist and the hips. And if your mind keeps drifting off, thinking of things that you have to do later, see if you can keep bringing it back to the practice. You can use your breath as an anchor, as a focus point. So each time that the mind wanders, just bring it back. Ask yourself, where can I feel the breath? And see if you can focus in on that sensation. Sometimes you can get kind of pins and needles with the arms outstretched like this. So if that's happening for you, it can feel quite nice to bend this outstretched arm. So for me, it's my left arm. And just rest that hand on the ribs. And we'll just be staying here for a few more breaths. So just take the time to get yourself comfy. Don't feel like you have to stay somewhere that feels uncomfortable for you. Always know that you can adjust yourself as you need to. Good. Feel free to stay here longer if you want to. Otherwise, we'll come back the way that we came. Bring that top arm over to meet the bottom. Take a moment here, just in this little fetal position, lying on our sides, feeling the weight of the body pressing down into the ground, knowing that you're held and supported here. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll roll all the way over onto the other side and we'll make our way into that twist again. So top hand opens up to the other side, finding those places to relax here through the waist and the hips, releasing any tension around the shoulders as best you can. Often just bringing our attention to these areas helps us realize that we're holding on to tension that we didn't even know. And if you start to feel any tingles through this outstretched arm, just bring it back to the ribs. Notice where you can feel the breath here. And if you feel like you need to be getting on with things, just remember that you chose to give yourself this time. So see if you can really commit to it. Letting yourself have this time to pause, to relax, to let go of the tension you've been holding on to. This is just as important as all the other busy things that you have to do. Good, take one final breath here. And we'll bring this top arm back to meet the bottom. Just finding your way back into this fetal position. Take a second to pause here. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way onto our backs. We'll come to our final posture, Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined cobbler's pose. So soles of the feet are coming together, knees are going out to either side, and it can feel quite nice if you've got cushions or pillows close by. You can bring them underneath the knees, and it can feel nice and supportive to have them there. And again, you can have something under the head as well for a little bit more cushioning if you need to. Maybe bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, or just resting the arms down by your sides. Noticing how the body can ease in and relax into a posture the longer that we stay there for. Sometimes it takes a little bit of focus or attention, like we've been doing, sending our attention to the shoulders, letting them relax, sending our focus to the hips, letting them relax. But even when we don't do that, if we just let ourselves breathe and be, the body will slowly, slowly start to give in to the posture. And then we can take our Shavasana here. Feel free to stay as you are. Otherwise, if it's not feeling super comfortable here, you can outstretch the legs. Or if you're feeling any fussiness through the lower back, just bend the knees, bring the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and let the knees fall in towards each other. Taking the time to get yourself comfortable. And just taking this last little bit of time together to let yourself fully rest and relax. Trying your best to let go of any effort or any doing. You don't have to do anything here. And then just bring your focus back to the breath one last time. Noticing where you can feel the breath moving the body. And then see if there's any last bits of tension you can let go of. Letting go of tension through the neck and the shoulders, unclenching the jaw. the muscles around the face, particularly between the eyebrows or around the forehead. Letting the hips settle into the ground, unclenching the fingers and the toes. And then you can start to bring yourself out of this, or if you've got time, feel free to stay as long as you want to here. Otherwise, starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes, turning the head from side to side, and starting to bring more movement through the arms and the legs. Maybe having a nice big stretch from head to toe. Maybe hugging the knees in towards the chest and having a rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, slowly making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall through the spine, just closing the eyes or softening the gaze down towards the floor. And we'll take this last moment together just to think of something that you're grateful for today. Maybe it's something or someone from your day. It might just be for yourself, for taking this time out of your day to practice and to do something good for you. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.